Aloha! I'm Ethel Murakami, a volunteer docent at the Okage-sama Day exhibit at the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii. Welcome to our virtual tour of the sugar plantation and plantation house. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive more content. Mahalo to the CPB Foundation and our other sponsors for their continued support. My dear friend and fellow docent, Elaine Okazaki, shared her family's plantation stories with me. Elaine spent her childhood summers living on the plantation, but did not realize it until she was an adult. Elaine actually lived outside of the plantation area, close by to Kekaha Beach and adjacent to a Christian church sermonized by Reverend Hanashiro. The structure was dark green with white trimmings, similar to the homes of any plantation. Elaine and her sister Elmira always looked forward to spending time with their cousins Naomi, Francis, and Benny instead of staying at home in Paoa, Honolulu. With no nearby friends or relatives, Elaine's Auntie Tamako, her mother's oldest sister, welcomed them with open arms. Elaine and her sister truly enjoyed the lifestyle of the Inafuku family. As kids living at their auntie's house, they had lots of fun, collecting eggs from the hen house, placing wood in the furo structure, killing a chicken for a heka dinner, retrieving the mail from the post office, and taking lunch to their uncle, Tomohiro, who was a cane hauler at the Kekaha sugar mill. At the mill, Elaine's uncle Tomohiro used a pitchfork-like tool to separate the sugar cane and hauled it into the water trough to be washed before being sent to the boiler. Mill work was considered easier than field work, so the workday was 12 hours instead of 10. Inside the mill, sounds of thundering engines, presses, furnaces, boilers, and other machinery were deafening, and the heat was intense. Laborers worked from sunup to sundown, with a half-hour lunch break before noon. When Uncle Tomohiro worked at the sugar mill, Elaine's auntie would wake up early every morning to prepare his lunch in the bento bako. His lunch usually included a bottom layer of white rice that was cooked in the cast iron fire stove with an umeboshi in the center and a top layer of okazu full of vegetables. While many women cared for the home and children, others did domestic work for the plantation community. Women also worked in many capacities as field laborers. Female laborers in the sugarcane fields dressed in many layers to protect themselves from the hot sun, bad weather, and insects like centipedes and yellow jackets. They wore long-sleeved shirts and skirts to cover the entire body. Many also wore scarves on their heads, long stockings, and split-toed covered shoes called tabis for additional protection. Work clothing was often made from the summer kimonos that were taken apart and re-sewn with a foot-pumped sewing machine. Uncle Tomohiro would wear a metal identification tag to work on the mill every day. The tags called bango, which means number in Japanese, were worn by the plantation laborers since the start of the plantation era in the 1800s. Bango was needed to get paid, access medical care, and charge for goods at the plantation store. The shape and number of the bango told the workers' ethnicity and monthly pay. Even when workers did the same jobs, wages differed along racial lines. Deductions and taxes also meant far less pay. Laborers returned home exhausted from their long days, but working on the plantation instilled important values in our Japanese community like patience, endurance through adversity, peaceful cooperation, and gratitude or kansha. These values inspired many Japanese to pursue greater ambitions beyond the sugarcane plantations. Now, I'll take you through the plantation house and share my family's story on the plantation. Back in the year 1899, my grandfather, Tarokichi Fuji, and grandmother, Nobu Fuji, left Hiroshima, Japan, in search of a better life for themselves and their family. They immigrated to Hawaii, and upon passing immigration to Honolulu, they were sent to the island of Kauai to work at the Grove Farm plantation. They lived in a plantation house in Kilipaki Camp near the Lihui sugar mill. I remember going to my dad's oldest brother's plantation house. We called him Big Uncle. He had worked his way up to become a luna or supervisor. His plantation house was a bit more modern than this one-room house. This one-room house included a modest kitchen with an ice box that was kept cold with blocks of ice, a safe that was a screen cabinet to keep their unrefrigerated food protected from insects, a wood or kerosene burning cast iron stove, a handy foot pump sewing machine, a tansu of drawers and cabinets to store their clothing and futongs. Families in the plantation slept on futongs. Futongs were thick comforters spread out on the floor when everyone was ready for bed at night. Then, in the morning, the futongs were folded up and stored in the tansu for the day. The majority of the immigrants were either Buddhists or Shinto. Here we have a Butsudan, and up there is a Shinto shrine. Christian homes may have had symbolic icons representing Christ. For the first 9 years of Japanese immigration, there were no Buddhist clergymen. Plantation owners realized the importance of organized religion in maintaining moral and social values among laborers, so invited Buddhist priests and donated land and materials for the construction of temples. This long table with benches served many uses. It was used for food preparations, dining, family gatherings, and even for studying. After the children finished doing their homework, they could play games with homemade toys such as otedama or beanbags, tossing and juggling their beanbags while chanting otedama, toss and catch, otedama, toss and catch, otedama, count to 10, ichi, ni, san, shi, goru, hichi, hachi, ku, ju. Family happiness was foremost. As this quote states, I started thinking about what's best for the children rather than being concerned about sending money back to Japan. Therefore, protesting poor working conditions and living conditions and low wages was imminent. After the Organic Act came into effect in the 1900s, contract labor ended, and workers had the freedom to seek new opportunities. Japanese began moving from plantation camps to towns. Soon enough, across the islands, there would be sprawling hubs of flourishing Japanese American communities and religious, educational, social, and business institutions. Thank you for watching and joining us for this segment of the Okage-sama Day exhibit. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive more content. Mahalo to the CPB Foundation and our other sponsors for their continued support.